He's just sitting there, drawing menacingly.
If we sit here long enough, we can definitely get him for public masturbation.
I'm gonna lock him and Digibro up either way.
You've been back in New York for over a month. Is there any reason you're not taking my calls?
I got vaccinated, and my body didn't take it well. I'm slowly getting back to monitoring those threads.
I'm going to be very disappointed if I find out you're hiding something from me.
Shit!
Don't fret. Something tells me he'll be free to look around for a very long time.
Today's irony is tomorrow's sincerity. It takes courage to peel back the veil of comic irony and expose the hidden desires of an artist, but doing so can work as a preventative measure in the fight against degeneracy. Over the past few years, we've seen numerous deviants face public humiliation and scrutiny after having their most brutal pleasures brought to light. But what I personally find most interesting is how obvious these evils are in retrospect. Art may be a non-violent way for someone to release their demons, but it doesn't wash away the sin inside their heart. Artists are not responsible for the behavior of their viewers, and the creation of art is not a guarantee of action. But as I examine these specific cases, I want you to ask yourself, are the actions of these people really all that surprising given the content that they create?
That damn Kiwi Farms. That damn Kiwi Farms. That damn Kiwi Farms. That damn Kiwi Farms.
The 2018 Kiro leaks shocked the entire internet with some of the most demonic acts of zoo sadism I've personally ever even heard of. But the content of Kiro's chat logs have already been discussed in nauseating detail, and I'll leave links to those videos down below if you feel like mopping up your stomach contents. What I want to bring up is that one of the ways that Kiro had attempted to defend himself was that he said that he and Snake Thing strictly enjoyed what he called feral artwork.
A long time ago, I was part of this group. It was for people who had an interest in feral artwork.
You have a soft interest in zoo, is that true?
Okay, so I have an interest in the artwork. I thought the artwork was always fascinating, and that's really where I drew the line.
Now, for those of you who don't know the difference between furry and feral artwork, let me give an explanation. A furry will make an attempt at high art by auctioning off his drawings of two gay rats fucking each other.
Item number 69, a watercolor titled Exchanging Fluids by Brian Swartz of York.
Whereas a feral artist is Twitter-pated to the point that he literally wants to fuck Bambi.
I need fox booty and deer butt.
Kiro is essentially saying, don't worry guys, I'm not a real zoophile, I just like to look at artwork depicting it. He is speaking as if feral art doesn't merit ridicule or disgust in of itself. And as we all know, Kiro was ultimately guilty in creating those animal torture videos. If your interest in zoo is so soft, then you wouldn't desire to see those animalistic features in the first place.
I love hentai. It helps me control my rape tendencies.
Hardcore Japanese cartoon pornography, it exists.
Before I get into it, I need to send a special message to any Shotacons listening.
Say hi to the South Park fans, I said!
Myself, Matt, and Trey fucking see you, and your horrible goddamn fan art.
I was kind of watching this weird yaoi art popping up, and different people would show it to us and go, oh, look at this cool thing of Tweek and Craig, and it's like they're making out and they're doing whatever. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
And every point of criticism I'm going to level against lolicons is directed at you as well. In one of his most infamous videos, Digibro makes the violent video games argument to validate his interest in lolly art.
I always like to go to the violent video games thing because that obviously that topic works with a lot of people. It is easier to understand than the topic of lolicon. That like I don't kill people in video games out of a desire to kill people in real life. It has nothing to do with real life violence. It's just an artistic amalgam of things that, that creates a certain satisfying emotion. And so when we look at pornography, we have to look at it the same way.
I'm not someone who particularly likes the equation of violent and pornographic content. Though my friend Ted would argue that there is a significant overlap, I think sexuality is a much stronger human impulse. And there is research to suggest that there is a greater connection between pornography and sexual behavior than violent content and violent actions. There's no guarantee that someone will develop homicidal ideation, but a sex drive is a given. Turkey Tom made an excellent video covering the infamy of the hentai artist Shadman. He addresses how Shad's humorous tone and close friendship with the beloved animators of Sleepy Cabin helped to shield him from criticism, even during the incident of him drawing Keemstar's daughter.
What you did by drawing this picture, putting it in context on your website with a bunch of other pictures of little naked girls, was fucked. Especially considering it's Keemstar's daughter. Started off as a controversial joke.
Yes.
You didn't go through with it.
I would have never.
You seem like a really down-to-earth person, and I'm genuinely surprised. But, no, good for you. I mean, I can only say thank you for taking it down.
You claim that Shadman is a genuinely good person, but that's only because he's been good to you. If one day Shad were exposed for genuinely abusing a child, by that logic, would you still defend him simply because your interactions with him were positive? The answer is no, and they're only going with his defense because it's the most comfortable for them.
I find it disturbing that it took his artwork and Discord comments about the young actress Daphne Keane for people to really start walking back their support. If you feel betrayed or shocked by Shad's behavior, don't, because his art has always been merely the tip of an iceberg, indicative of his psychology underneath.
For years, Shadman profited off of his market of pedophiles, and now, realizing his entire online presence is being threatened because of it, has chosen to stop after a cost-benefit analysis.
This may not always be the case, but there are instances in which people will use jokes as a method of revealing darker pieces of themselves and seeing what they can get away with. If the art is as far removed from reality as Digi or Shad would suggest, then why spend so much time dwelling on the subject matter?
Now, obviously, if you're jerking off to portraits of little girls,
you're probably a pedophile, but...
I want to finish by saying that I am not exempt from this kind of criticism. I have mentioned my past usage of pornography on this channel. In addition, I am self-aware enough to say that I am a person who has struggled with suicidal ideation in the past, and I am also a person who is drawn to entertainment that glorifies death. This symptom of my psychology is evident in the media I consume and in the art that I create. It doesn't mean that I can never enjoy another horror movie again, or that I shouldn't be creative to deal with my feelings. It just means that I should still acknowledge that this art is a partial reflection of myself. You may never cross the border of fantasy into reality, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't consider taking a step back. I think your resulting happiness will surprise you.
Have I ever told you the story about Elliot walking on the beach?
What motivates you?
He said she smiled at him.
What great tragedy is that little girl from Long Island trying to thwart?
Good morning, little Mako. I can see you're well rested.
I haven't slept well in a very long time.
Dreaming of your sharks again? I don't need to ask you why. I already understand your connection to these men.
They are where I find contentment, and they are also what keeps me awake at night.
You think that if you stop Elliot as he walks on that beach and tell him to go home and hug his parents, that little girl won't die, and your lambs will stop screaming.
Upon awakening, you'll feel the truth, the freedom's free, much more than you. So clap your hands and dance for what's to come. Stretch your arms, receive that golden sun.